How did you first become familiar with Dale Carnegie, and how did How to Win Friends and Influence People shape you? Both kind of early on, once you first were exposed to
Mhm.
How to Win Friends, as well as in other experiences.
Yeah, my mom had that book around the house, and I picked it up as a teenager and read it for the first time. And as you know, it's an easy read. And when you read that book, you're like, this is so obvious. And then you realize how many people actually don't behave this way. Life gets busy and we're short with people. And I mean, I've obviously done that too. We've all, made those mistakes, and you realize it just doesn't get you anywhere. So that was my first introduction when I was a teenager. And I read the book every few years. I read it again in college, because it works and it's true. And when you take an interest in people and asking questions, and you realize people love to talk about themselves, and you're giving them, and you're being interested in what they're saying, being obviously sincere in that. And then the two biggest lessons for me in there were like seeking to understand before seeking to be understood, which is really hard. For a lot of that one is the hardest one, because when we feel a certain way, we've already made up our mind and we make these assumptions. So that one I found was the most valuable for me, to constantly check myself of, am I asking the right questions here? Am I getting all the information before I'm having a reaction or making a decision? And then the names piece. I mean, I applied the whole name thing to both Back on My Feet and solidcore.